What's up, you DJs? The Woodward Bet Show here on a Tuesday. I got my boy Detroit Beastie with me. You guys are going to have to excuse me. I am fighting off the ever so popular Rona here. So doing my best to fight through this here. I know Beer Man is not feeling well either, so we're going to have to call this the Quarantine Bet Show. But either way, Chris, what's going on there, buddy?
Well, if you have COVID and we're broadcasting together, why aren't you wearing a mask? I don't want to catch it through the microphone. I mean, that's I can't believe you would broadcast without wearing a mask here. But I'm good. I can honestly say that. And in a way, I don't know if you've ever been sick or you've been healthy around folks that under the weather. In a way, maybe it's just me, but I feel bad saying that I'm completely healthy. I feel good. I got caffeine running through me, and I'm ready to rock. My notes are here, and in a way, I feel bad for feeling like that because you're over there kind of not feeling good. But hey, if you feel good, you should tell the world, right? And if you feel bad, stay home and we'll revisit next week.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Jordan had a good game when he had the flu, as we know. So we're going to just keep going here and pile through it. But the big news of the day here locally, Chris, I know we were talking a little bit before we went on, and as the whiteboard says behind me, welcome home number 5. What do you think of that here? The two greatest living Red Wings are together once again, got the band back together here. And now, what do we need now? Fedorov on the bench, and man, it'd be looking like an all-star Hall of Fame kind of coaching staff. But as we said, I think that's good for the kid Mo to have Nick on some skates there during practice. So kind of excited to hear that today. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And first and foremost, they need to retire Fedorov's number 91, get him in, make him feel, kind and good for the organization, which he was. Yeah, Fedorov moved on later in his career, but didn't have the exact magic that he had when he was with the Wings. At one point in time, when he was a Detroit Red Wing, he was, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong here in the comments while you're watching, was Fedorov the number one most, how can I put this, formidable or like a press release guy. This guy was everywhere. He was doing commercials. He was doing jersey signings. I mean, he was marketable. Was Fedorov the most marketable hockey player at that moment in time, way back when? Again, now it's about Sidney Crosby or Alexander Ovechkin, Connor McDavid, and what everybody is doing in Edmonton here. But to me, Sergei Fedorov at one moment in time was the most marketable NHL player, and I don't even really think it's questionable. Yeah, he played with Steve Yzerman and Nick Lindstrom here, but some of those teams way back when I was a boy, I was a kid on the east side of Detroit, and it was just magical watching the Wings play and setting all these records, and they assembled super teams before super teams were even a thing here. But to me, aside from Fedorov, you asked me about Lindstrom, and I droned on about nonsense, but Lindstrom coming back to the organization in such a major role, it's not like that Nick Lindstrom is going to be here, he's going to just hang out every once in a while, he's going to be a bench coach, or he's going to, make sure that the paint on the ice is. No, he is the VP, Vice President of Hockey Operations. So your number one is Steve Yzerman. Guy's a legend here. Everybody in Michigan loves Stevie Y. He's come in, and he's kind of progressed this thing a little quicker than we had hoped. When you go back, they tossed out their 25 straight seasons of making the playoffs here. All the while, Yzerman was in Tampa Bay building a monster, and they've won back-to-back championships. So you have to think a little bit of what Tampa Bay is doing now is still on the legs of what Steve Yzerman has grown and done there. Now, Yzerman is here. We've had back-to-back outstanding draft classes. We've brought in some, how can I say this? Like a little bit, underwhelming free agents that have kind of popped a little bit. Nick Leddy finally back on the ice as a defenseman. They got rid of Mantha. I mean, I'm not going to go through all the moves Yzerman has made here, but everything he's touched has turned to gold so far. And this one right here to add Nicholas Lindstrom back to this organization, it speaks volumes. And most people compare. Adding good head coaches or assistant coaches, like that's better left for, baseball teams or football teams. But here, Lindstrom working with this organization, Steve Yzerman being the GM, more free agents or more, young kids overseas as Maltby and Chris Draper are scouting. I mean, we have a very good group of ex-professional players who are also very smart hockey minds here, putting something together. So I said that to say this. Lindstrom is here, Yzerman is here. We can get Fedorov in, and more than likely, it'll be more enticing to free agents, to other folks. They'll go, hey, I can go, where do I want to go? Do I want to go to Buffalo? Do I want to go to New Jersey? Or do I want to go to Detroit? I can work and skate side by side with Nick Lindstrom and Steve Yzerman. So to me, it's an outstanding move, and just packing on all this good Red Wing mojo here. So to me, unbelievably good move, and I can't say enough good things about it.
Yeah, I for me though, Chris, I mean, if you think about it, if you're, let's just say you're at the NHL winter meetings and you're different teams, I mean, the level of respect that has to be on the side of the Red Wings with those two superstars. I mean, they're both captains of the team forever. They're both Hall of Famers, first ballot Hall of Famers yet. So, I mean, the level of respect for those two that our management is now has to be one of the best in the NHL. But really excited for that. But Beastie, yesterday we had our boy Spencer hop on yesterday for us. We had our best bet. Spencer went 1 for 1. I mean, if you want to have that, I had the over in the first half, sure, but I did call the dogs. I did call the over team total 27.5 for the dogs. But man, that was a pretty good game last night. I'll admit I was dozing in and off there. One time I looked, it was like 9-6. Next time I looked, it was like 30 something. I know they scored like 30 points there in the fourth quarter, but yeah, it's tough for a team to beat another team twice. I always said there that Bama did have the better recruiting classes for the 4 years for those seniors there. But pretty exciting game. Glad that's over now. College football's over. Looks like we got college basketball coming on. But Chris, did you catch any of that game last night? If so, what did you think about that game last night?
I'll be honest, hand to the sky. I did not watch a moment of that game, but I would go back, check on my phone or on the computers. I'm doing other things. But the biggest story to me is Spence being on the broadcast with you. Again, he produces a lot of what we do. We're Snapchat friends now. I don't know if Spencer is there now. We've added each other on Snapchat. So you can say the relationship between Detroit Beastie and Spence has it's been taken up a notch here. And to be fair with you, he does all this stuff behind the scenes, and you can always count on him to produce the show. But the biggest thing to me was watching the broadcast and seeing what Spencer looks like. I mean, again, when you read books or you're reading something and you can kind of get a glimpse of this is who's talking or this is who's producing the show. I don't know about you, Scott, but I kind of, make up what a person would look like. And I didn't expect Spencer to look like that. I'm not saying that in a bad way, but Spencer was, it was outstanding. He's got a full head of hair. He's got these big chop sideburns and a bigger beard and everything. So Spencer, you didn't look at all like I expected, but hey, you were here on the broadcast, 1 for 1 on your bets. That's a good move. First time out on the broadcast. I know big shoes to fill. We got a lot of good going on here. I'm fooling around here, but to me, it wasn't really about the national championship game. It was about our own Woodward Sports own Spencer and being on the broadcast. It was outstanding.
I'll tell you what though, BC, him and Easy, our two boys, our two producers there, they're going to start their own podcast. It's called The Heavyweights. They had some fun in the office today. So, Spencer, why don't you go ahead and roll that beauty of a clip you got?
It's easy, baby. We're bringing the pain. We're doing what he said. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What in the world is happening here?
Woodward Heavyweights, stay tuned. Stay tuned for it. Big news coming, baby. Yeah. Oh, yeah. 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 Whoa, whoa. Watch out.
What the fuck is this? Braylon, Stick, we're all
got our phones out. That's all I know.
I mean, I can't watch
Scott,
that
what? They're in the most important hallway of the entire building. I mean, that row right there is where the heavyweight, offices are. Stick is right there. I believe Tom Mazaway has a room there and everything. And so that was it was a great video. And when you look at, you can see those two are going at it. I believe Easy was wearing like a leather vest or something. All he needed was the assless chaps. I mean, I don't know. And then it cuts to Braylon Edwards wearing just a beautiful gold watch going, what the fuck is this? And that was the best part of the video. And then the little undertones of Ryan Armani, who is a news anchor in the city. I mean, he's got a legit job where he's on air all the time for a legit Fox 2 news organization. And he's just, it was great all around. That's how magic is made. You can't really plan or prep or prepare for this stuff. It just happens here. And it was a great clip. I caught it last night, and then it was great to see it again while we're broadcasting.
Yeah, that was when I saw that earlier today, I got a kick out of that to watch that a couple times. But that video is a lot better than this video we had that we got from that Georgia-Alabama game. There was a guy, man, I don't know what the hell he was on, but I thought it was kind of weird. So let's play that one too.
I don't really know what's going on, so why don't you tell me?
This is the dogs! It's the Sanford, baby! This is how we do it for the dogs! Go, Georgia! Woo!
Wait,
No, I don't know what quite to say about that one, Chris. That guy should be doing some Halloween content or something. Maybe be at like a haunted house or something. But yeah, that
He was
guy
on
there,
something for sure.
he ate an edible or something. That dude's tripping
No.
out. But I thought
An edible will keep you calm and peaceful. You might get stuck in your own head when you're on an edible, but something like that, more than likely it's some kind of stimulant, whether he inhaled it, smoked it, ate it, I don't know. And to be fair with you, I'm going to ask you right now, live on air, was his body painted that pale, or was he just automatically, look like that? I don't know what the heck was going on. But I also will say, and I'll just say it, he had a little something going on in his arm. It was kind of cut out, low body fat, but I can't believe someone's skin would be that pale. That's why it has to have been painted.
yeah, I'm gonna guess it was there too. But either way, but BC, I saw you on Twitter talking about the other day how satisfied and happy at this point you are with our hometown Detroit Lions. Now we got Aaron Glenn getting interviewed by the Broncos. We got Dan Campbell. Kind of, you know what, Garris? I'll give him some credit where credit's due. At first, I thought it was a clown show, a shit show that he was saying bite everybody's kneecaps and blah blah blah. I thought nobody's going to want to play for this guy, especially if they start struggling. But damn, he kept it together. The boys want to play for him, and really, that's what the NFL is all about. If you're a head coach that the boys want to play for, they're going to go out there and smash it for you. So I know you've been happy about how it's going, but go ahead. Let me hear what you think here of the state of the Detroit Lions at this point.
Yeah, it's not so much about the state of the Detroit Lions. It has more to do with the state of the NFC North as a whole here. Because as you can see, I write everything down. I take notes, and any little idea I think of, I write down, whether it's on a sticky note or a legal pad, and we'll go from there. But when you look at the NFC North right now, Green Bay, at the top of the mountain, first round bye, Aaron Rodgers, Matt LaFleur is their head coach. They're doing well. They always play outstanding, fantastic. You never have to worry about the Green Bay Packers. But Matt Nagy, Ryan Pace, they're out in Chicago. No more head coaching, no more GM. So they're in the midst of going back through this thing and finding their image once again. Same thing in Minnesota here. Zimmer is out, and he was supposed to be this defensive savior, and he looked. It was not good for the Minnesota Vikings the last few seasons. But when you look at Zimmer in Minnesota here, I believe he was there 8 years. He did some good things, more bad than good. Duh, you get fired for that. But to me, I get to sit back. I'm 37 years old. I've never made any secret about my age or try to lie or hide that here, because I know some folks that broadcast or write or stand-up comedian, I don't know. Everybody likes to lie about a little bit of something here. But me, 37 years old, I've never really seen a portion of an offseason like this one, and it just started 2-3 days ago here. But now we can sit back and rest and relax, because for once in my godforsaken life, the Lions aren't like trying to oust their head coach. The fans aren't showing up to Ford Field with pitchforks and inflamed torches. We want the head coach out. The GM needs to go. No, we are nice, good and safe and sound, comfy, cozy on such a very cold stretch of winter here in Detroit, with Brad Holmes as our GM, with Dan Campbell as our head coach. So we can sit back and just rest, relax, and watch the crap show that is going to be the Chicago Bears head coaching search and their GM search. And again, with Minnesota. Now, I will say this as well. In Minnesota, Zimmer is out, which I've mentioned 17 times already. But some folks have already started to say, well, what does that mean for Kirk Cousins' future? Are they going to get rid of him? I know he signed some sort of massive contract for 4 or 5 years. I don't know exactly where we are in that contract here, but who's to say that a new head coach comes comes in or some sort of assistant to the GM comes in and says, hey, we're going to break this thing down and start from scratch. We have Justin Jefferson to build off of. We have Dalvin Cook to build off of, maybe. But, when a lot of head coaches and GMs come in, they want their own draft selections. They want to start from step one in their eyes. So is there a case here that Kirk Cousins has moved and then they go back into the basement of the abyss? Because we saw Sean Mannion as their starting quarterback a few weeks ago was not good. It was bad news. And then Kirk is back and they kind of move a little bit better, not awesome, but they moved a little well with Kirk Cousins here. And then when you look at the Chicago Bears, it's all bad there right now. You have Allen Robinson, who didn't play much, and it has a little bit to do with an injury, but he play that little role here where he wasn't as hurt as he thought he was, just because the team was such a mess. They were in disarray. He wanted nothing to do with on the field. And then the attitude of taking Justin Fields out, and even when he's healthy, it was just a nonsense in Chicago and Minnesota. And look, as a man here in Detroit, I don't mind any of it, because the Lions have always been the laughingstock of the NFC North. There's been little drips and drabs, but we want to solidify this thing here with the North and put together a run of at least competing for the North. And at this moment in time, right now, maybe Spencer will cut this clip, I don't know, but as it stands now, the Lions have a chance. They have a little window to kind of get this thing going and ramp it up a little bit more and make a run for the NFC North, not only next season, but moving on, as Minnesota and Chicago are in turmoil and they're trying to work it out. Whereas in the Lions, I'd like to think are at least a year ahead of both organizations as they're going down this journey of new head coaches and GMs and trying to figure it out here. So to me, I love the idea that Dan Campbell is at Ford Field right now, or Allen Park, I should say, just there peacefully watching the guys work out, hanging out, giving high fives and just being around and showing this team that he is the head coach and he's supportive of them. They're supportive of him. I haven't seen this kind of interaction with a head coach and the players, at least in Detroit, for a long time. The last string of coaches, especially, Patricia, I'll say the P word here, they hated him. He hated them too. He talked to them very badly. But to me, the window for the Lions to kind of make a little bit of a jump here in the NFC North starts absolutely right now. You got Barry as a special assistant. You got Chris Spielman, the stud Hall of Fame linebacker here at your disposal. So to me, how often in free agency or in the draft will people think, oh, you know what? The Lions are kind of a desirable place because I can work hand in hand with Barry Sanders. I can kind of hang and work hand in hand with Chris Spielman here. So just little things like that mean the world as someone as a player sits at home, or, and they're looking at an organization and they say, you know what? I think it's between the Jets or the Giants, or it's Detroit. I'm going to go to Detroit because Barry Spielman and maybe Calvin Johnson down the road, they will tip the needle for us. They will max out that needle for us. So right now, the Lions, this is your chance. Let's see what we can do with it here, Scott.
Yeah, I mean, for me, listen to Dan Campbell a couple weeks ago. He did an interview and he was talking about some of the rookies and how they've been struggling and what they need to do to get their head out of their dupa. But, just that honesty there is what I liked as a fan. Like, hey, this guy's got to pick it up a little bit. That to me is very, very good there. I don't like to hear, bull crap. Just say how it is. Hey, we know that roster isn't that good. So hopefully they can do some work. And I mean, I like the way Brad Holmes has been drafting so far. So we'll see, get him a second chance here. Really happy with obviously Amon-Ra St. Brown. Looks like we got the second best receiver in that draft, obviously Chase being the best. But yeah, looking forward to see what the Lions can do here. But Chris, another thing we had good last night happen is how about those Pistons and Cade Cunningham last night? I mean, my rookie of the year candidate there that I was on for everybody at the beginning of the season. I mean, Cade, 29 points last night, Chris. I thought he looked really good. I saw some highlights of it, but huge comeback win there for the Pistons. But what are you thinking of the rookie there, Cade? Do you think he's got a shot at that rookie of the year?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, again, I've never been one to say I'm very plugged into NBA, but DFS is DFS. If you're into one, you can probably dabble in another one here. And we're talking 2, 3 months ago. You told all of us, you graced us with that bet that on the sports book here, where I'm going to put down 20, $50, whatever, however much it was, that Cunningham is going to win Rookie of the Year, and everything he's done since has kind of played right into your hand as him being the Rookie of the Year here. So I talk about Cade because he's really the only rookie in the NBA that I know of that's doing anything of note. So to me, it seems to be a runaway in terms of Cade, but he's the hometown guy. He was the first overall selection. One thing I will say, and maybe I should save this for when we're off the air here, but I've also heard folks on social media say, what if no one's ever talked about, what if the Detroit Pistons win the draft lottery again this coming season? So you're going to pair Cade with another number 1 overall pick, and then are the Pistons off and running? Then can the Pistons kind of get in lockstep with the Wings or the Lions or the Tigers here, and we can have a blossoming of all 4 sports franchises at the same time, playing meaningful games down the stretch or making some playoff runs here. So to me, Pistons, what a comeback that was. I know when last time we got together, they had lost like 3 of their last 6 games, something like that. So anytime they can win a basketball game, and especially in this fashion against a very good Jazz team, down a couple of their good players, it's one for the record book. So to me, Cade Cunningham will absolutely be your Rookie of the Year, and you will be able to cash in on that ticket, Scott.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I had him and Lucas Raymond also parlayed together to win Rookie of the Year, but I did bet on each of them individually as well. But that'll lead us into some NBA that we got for tonight, Chris. I know you're not too much of an NBA guy, so I will give it a rip here. We have 6 games tonight, 1 including the Pistons. But as far as any kind of DFS goes, I mean, you just got to start with the Joker. The Joker is in such a good spot. You got to pay up for the Joker tonight for Denver against the Clippers. I think that is the most juicy spot tonight in DFS. I'd also look at, again, playing the potential Rookie of the Year, Cade Cunningham. I think he's a guy you need to look at, maybe like a Scotty Barnes, a Zach LaVine, Brandon Ingram, Gary Trent Jr., maybe even a Kevon Looney tonight. But yeah, tonight's going to be more of a balanced approach, not really the stars and scrubs that we've seen in the past, unless some kind of value opens up as the night goes on. But really, the Pistons are the only team that played on a back-to-back. So that is concerning there. I heard they're not getting to have Bol tonight, so I don't believe he is going to be in there. Obviously, Grant, Olynyk, and Livers are also out, but I doubt that they'll sit anybody there. But we'll have to obviously keep our ears to the ground there. But as far as any kind of bets go, we'll get into some of those at the end of the night. But one thing I will mention here is the Bulls minus 13.5 against the Pistons. The Pistons have not fared well on second half of back-to-back, so that is something that we're going to have to keep our eyes on. As far as over-unders go tonight, the highest over-under spread is Minnesota-New Orleans at 226.5. All the rest of them there, 223 for that Toronto-Phoenix game, but all sorts of different DFS plays that I mentioned. But for me, another one, though, too, that I may bring up is Eric Bledsoe. I think he's in a pretty good position tonight as well. But yeah, like I mentioned there, Chris, we'll get into some best bets here at the end of the show. But yeah, I'm going to probably get in there tonight, play some NBA DFS, and I think I'm going to get in there and play some NHL DFS since I got you here on the show today. We got 7 games in the NHL. We do have a Red Wing game too tonight out there with San Jose. But Chris, what are you thinking about this NHL slate tonight? Give me some lines to play tonight. I know you're always big on certain lines and giving out which ones play on the power play, which is very important in NHL DFS. But go ahead. What do you got for tonight?
There's a lot to like in the slate. As you can see, the graphic is up there. We have all these games played. You look at Toronto against Vegas. That's going to be a great one. Or even, late tonight, Vancouver is playing in Florida. And that's going to be another one. When you look down the slate here, if you've never bet on hockey or played hockey DFS, your standard over-under is about 5 goals. 5.5 is kind of ambitious, which is outstanding. But tonight, we have 4 different games that the over-under sits at 6 or more goals. That's saying something here as well, because 6, people know how to do math, right? 4 + 2, 3 + 3. There's a million different ways you can get to 6 here. So to me, I'm just plucking out lines, in certain players from, power play lines, first, second lines that have anything and everything to do with these 6-goal over-under games. And the first one I want to go to would be the later game. As I said, Vancouver at the Florida Panthers here. This one over-under is at 6 here. And when you go down the list here, there's a lot to like. Anthony Duclair is leading Florida with 14 goals, one coming in the power play when they had 60 shots on goal, or he has had 60 shots on goal combined throughout the season here. Also, Jonathan Huberdeau from the Florida Panther leads the team with 46 points and assists with 33 total, and 11 of those assists have been coming on the first power play unit. And Jonathan Huberdeau is plus 12 on the season, meaning if he's on the ice when a goal is scored, he gets plus points, or plus 1, -1. I mentioned that, a week or two ago. Lindstrom was always, plus 50, plus 60 here. But to me, it's all about that Florida second line. As I said, Sam Bennett, line 2, power play unit 2. Jonathan Huberdeau, line 2, power play 1 unit. And Anthony Duclair, line 2, first power play unit. So of these 3 skaters for Florida, you get a little bit of action to the second line, and you get a big time taste to the first power play unit. So to me, Jonathan Huberdeau, Anthony Duclair, and Sam Bennett, they're in it for me. And when we go down the list here, I also love the Carolina's first line. Carolina puck drop in Philadelphia at 7 p.m. tonight. And Carolina's been, they've been just absolutely ravaged by COVID, and they're kind of starting to come out of, I don't want to say a slump, but they're coming out of it. And I mentioned a month or two ago that they were playing on the West Coast, Western Canada. They had to leave players everywhere because they would just start to pop positive, as they were testing, getting on the plane here. But finally, Carolina is back to 1 unit now, so we can really stack Carolina. Sebastian Aho, first line, first power play unit. Tiro Teravainen, first line, first power play unit. And Nino Niederreiter from the old school Minnesota team. Nino Niederreiter, first line, first power play unit. I think, to be honest with you, Carolina wins this one, puts up 5 goals, and a large portion of those will be from either this first line or this first power play unit. And last but
I think old Beastie froze up on us there. Not quite sure what happened, but
not least,
yeah, Beastie's freezing up on us. So we will continue on here, but you back, Beastie?
I think so.
You froze up on us. I mean, yeah, you were in some heat and heavy there. I mean, you were doing great, and all of a sudden you kind of froze up. I thought, uh-oh, what's going on here? But go ahead if you got anything red. Looks like you're back. Maybe not. But either way, though, we got obviously we got some hockey tonight, and then here tonight too. I wanted to kind of look at and talk about some of the Super Bowl odds here before the playoffs that we got. So for me, I'm going to be looking at some teams here. Maybe I could hop on a little early before these games start and kick in here. But I mean, I'm just kind of looking at some long shots. Obviously, anybody about 10-1 or more here that I think could win the Super Bowl, with the thought being if they get there, you could always hedge to the other team. So for some teams I like the Cowboys getting plus 12-1 to win the Super Bowl. I think that is a pretty good odds. I think that NFC is pretty much wide open. So I think Cowboys is not a bad bet. And then one here that I was kind of surprised about is the New England Patriots 22-1. Now I know they got, they don't have the same team as they had before, but I just think at those odds, 22-1, that is not too bad at all. But the Cowboys at 12-1 are one that I am going to be focusing on here. But before we get out of here, I know we lost Beastie there. It looks like, we can put a man on the moon, but, trying to keep everybody on the internet here seems to be quite the chore. But let's get to some best bets for the day, and we'll end the show here with that. Appreciate you guys all joining us today. As I mentioned earlier, feeling a little bit under the weather, but as we'll get through it here. But as far as some best bets for the day, been hot, so let's continue to stay hot. So in the NBA tonight, I am going to roll with the Chicago Bulls, given the Pistons the 13.5. The Pistons have been terrible on a second half of a back-to-back. I just think this is another spot. They're running into a pretty good team here. So I do not like the Pistons' chances tonight. So I'm going to be betting against the Pistons and rolling with the Bulls. And then one other one here that I have Minnesota minus 3.5 here against New Orleans. I like Minnesota, so I'm going to roll with that one. And then one other one here that I'm going to roll with too is OKC getting 9 from Washington. I just think OKC should be able to cover that, but that is pretty much my best bets of the day. But we are going to get out of here for Detroit Beastie, for the heavyweights behind the glass, Spencer and Easy. I am Scott. We will catch you tomorrow. Thanks.
Woodward heavyweights? What the f*** is that? Who would watch that?
I'm both terribly disgusted and inspired.
Who the f*** are these two dudes?
They're idiots!
Brother, I've been in this business a million years. I have no idea what the hell I just watched.
I love it!